Hi Riyad, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm great, man. It's lovely to catch up with you. I think it's been about plus minus 6 months, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. It's been a really long time.
Yeah, man. No, but I understand, man. It's really great to catch up with you. So my opening question to you is, how was your first year at UKZN been so far, both academically and socially?
I'd say academically, it's been quite well because coming from a high school, the workload seems a bit much more because you're given a lot more assignments, you're given a lot more assessments and tests. Like recently this semester, I've been given 13 assignments to complete within a week.
Wow.
So I've had no rest for that week. That was during our semester break. And socially, I've met a lot of friends who really know me, who really get along with me, and we really bond together, especially because we're coming from that point where we want to be teachers. We know what it's like, and we all have a love for the certain thing. And either besides teaching, we also found that we have things in common outside of teaching, like we like the same music band, we like movies, the same type of movies, and we also like the same types of video games, which is quite rare to see in, especially in South Africa, where you find somebody
Hmm.
liking the specific things that you like that might only be seen internationally.
Wow. All right. What motivated you to participate, to specialize in mathematics for grades 10 to 12 and technology for the senior phase?
Okay, so I wanted to do maths, especially in grade 10 to 12, to break that sort of stigma that maths is hard. Although,
Hmm.
yes, it's hard, the best thing that you can do as a teacher is to show the students how to break it down in such a way that is manageable. My aim is to show that maths can be a way that you use in everyday life. See, for grade 10, it's the foundations of maths where you're going to go into university, where you're going to need it in everyday life. And some people just say, oh, why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? But they don't realize that they're using that same grade 10 knowledge to grade 12 knowledge, grade 11 knowledge in their everyday life, where they're going to use for baking, for cooking, for whatever. Example, you're baking a cake, but you only have half the ingredients. Like you have
Hmm.
2 eggs instead of 4 eggs. What are you going to do to the recipe? So I want to use real life examples in my classroom to show that it's not just about textbook, but it's also about applying it in real life situations. And as for
Okay, I have a.
technology,
Oh, sorry.
sorry, no, as for technology, I wanted to do natural sciences, but because the university offers only maths and technology as a package, I sort of had to interweave or just marry the two subjects together.
Wow. All right. Okay, I have a question for you in the comments here already. This is from Reshton. Hi, Riyadh. Thank you for your academic influence. What is your advice for the learners who are going into their exams?
Okay, so those who are going into exams, I just want to say take time to rest. The most important thing that you can do is to rest, because with your body being tired, your mind is going to be tired. You're not going to be able to retain that information. And just sitting with a textbook and reading information over and over and over again comes repetitive and redundant because it's not going
Mhm.
into your head. Another thing that they could do is sit with a couple past your papers, because that's the best way that you can do, or the best method that you can have to sort of test your own information to see what I know, what I don't know, and what do I need to improve on, because you might know something but it's not fully there. Therefore you can focus your time into that specific field instead of wasting your time on a topic that you already know.
All right. Which modules have been the most challenging and how have you managed them?
Okay, the most difficult modules would have probably been education studies, because it's more of the theoretical framework. Uh, that's mainly
Hmm.
knows learning about the different theories and all of that. What I most what how I've handled it is I've sat with my books, I took down notes, and what I do is called active recall, where I'm studying, and what I do is I write down the topic that I want to know. Then I write out all the information that I know about it. Then I go to my book or to my lecture slides and see what I've missed out, and then just try and learn that information again. And another module would have been probably my trigonometry module, because that module is university level math, and it involves you manipulating equations, solving solutions in a very short time, which will lead you to maybe not even finishing the paper. But the best thing that I did was is sit with a textbook, do the examples, check the memo answers. Same situation like how I suggested with the learners that are writing. That's the method I still use today, and that's the method that I'll always suggest because that's the best method that has worked for me.
Yeah. All right. How are you finding the transition from high school learning to university level academic expectations?
Oh, that is quite a large scale because in high school you had to do different subjects like English, maths, history, whatever you're doing, and they're given a certain amount of framework. But in university, they just give you work, expect you to do it,
Mhm.
and if you don't do it, that's your own thing. You are more responsible in university for your own work rather than in high school where the teachers are there to guide you. It's up to you to know what to do, when to do it, how to do it, because you are now a responsible adult in university. If you fail, that's on your own accord. You can't blame anybody else.
Mm, yeah, that's true. What teaching methods from your lecturers have really stood out and influenced your thinking about how to teach them in the future?
Okay, so there's two methods that stood out. One is gamification, and the other
Mhm.
is constructivism. Gamification is basically taking games and implementing them in class because we know that learners like to have a playful attitude. So having that game into class really like embeds the knowledge into the learner, makes them understand it and have a way to understand it. For example, when I was doing my teaching practice module, where we did micro mini, where we presented in front of group of students, I used a game called Minecraft, where I essentially taught students how to build using these different types of blocks and how to calculate area and perimeter using that. So when they go home, they can show their parents that I'm not just playing games, I'm actually studying. So breaking the stigma as well. Then with constructivist is applying sort of structures to help students do the work
Mhm.
until they can do it themselves by you showing the example, doing the example with them, and letting them do the example by themselves. It's sort of like in when you're having a building, when there's a construction project, they add scaffolding to help the building rise. That's what we're trying to do. Build them from what they know to the unknown to get them back to a sort of known state.
Yeah. I see the one in the comments also concurs with you regarding the gaming. I second the gamification method. It works in most cases. That's from
Yeah.
Jitin Rishika. Okay. All right. The next question to you is, have you had any early classroom exposure or observation opportunities, and what did you take away from them?
So we didn't really go out as university yet. However, I did volunteer at a high school at my high school in June, July. What I really observed was that teachers really take their time to explain the concept. Although now in South Africa we have like 40, 50 children in a class where individual teaching can take place. But really having that sort of teaching where you can slowly break down those intense topics really helps a student understand very difficult, complex ideas into a sort of, hey, this is really simple, I can really do it. So that's what can happen. That's what I've experienced in the classroom. Really, the teachers explaining it in such a way that the learners seem like, hey, this is not so difficult as I thought. That's that's what I've seen.
Right. How do you see technology playing a role in improving teaching and learning in South African schools?
So, a good example is taking us right now. We are
Hmm.
having this call online. Now, let's look at the classroom context. We're having a classroom that's full of 40, 50 children. Now, let's take that technology and give a student a device where they can be at home, have an online class, learn with the teacher, ask questions, where it won't be in such a crowded classroom where the students are feeling hot, they're feeling miserable, they're feeling stuffy, they're feeling as if they can't get any work done because there's just too much things happening, sensory overload, and they just can't focus. Meaning, at home, they can get that attention that they need. They can raise questions, they can ask questions in the chat. Maybe they shy, so they can ask the question in the chat. The teacher can see the question, get the question back to the student, and just in case the students is just don't want to ask it in front of the class. And take the instance of gamification. The students, it's not only for technology, but we can use technology a prime example. We're using games such as Minecraft, such as Kahoot, to really test the students' knowledge by making it in a fun way. So, implementing technology is a way to make education fun, to make learning fun, to make sure that students really understand and really know that learning is not just a boring process where they have to go, but it's really a process for you to learn what you want, how to do it, and when you want to do it, and in your own ways.
What study strategies or resources have you found most useful for subjects like mathematics and education theory?
Um, most the strategies I found were
Mhm,
that you use something called active recall. I explained this earlier, where you just write down what you know, see what you don't
mhm.
know, and write it back. And the resources I found are textbooks, research articles, essays, that just give you a clue of what's happening, how it's happening, why it's happening, especially with those education studies, those education theories like constructivism, behaviorism. It's really important that you know those theories, because it's going to be applied in the classroom. Different students learn different ways, and as a teacher, it's your job to know those different ways in order for a student to better learn the content, better learn the subject. And for maths, a textbook that I use a lot is probably the answer series book, because those have level 1 to level 5 questions. I'm talking about Bloom's taxonomy. It's where the different levels of cognitive learning, and it really gradually shows the difficulty increasing, but it helps the students understand the questions much, much better.
Looking ahead, do you see yourself teaching in urban schools, rural schools, or maybe even pursuing educational leadership roles?
Yeah, I don't mind teaching in any school at all, because as a teacher, it's our job to teach whoever we can. But I want to go into a leadership role, maybe becoming a minister or something in education, because I really have a lot of ideas on what to do for education. It's not just about uh, what we can do, it's about what we must do. In order for someone to be an education minister or have a role in leadership, it's they need to have experience firsthand what it's like to be in the classroom in the modern day context, and what it's like to have teaching and learning in the current context that is our country.
All right. Finally, what advice would you give to new students who plan to study education, especially mathematics and technology?
uh, Best thing I can do is keep your books, because I see myself really going back and forth to my high school textbooks, because you need to remember those ideal concepts. And for those who want to study education, my thing is to you: remember, education is a key to success, and you as a teacher are there to help the students unlock their full potential. It's not about getting gratitude, it's about you, it's a calling where you feeling yourself as an individual that wants to learn more from other people, because teachers are lifelong learners. We never stop studying, even if we say we're tired, we're always learning more. And for maths and technology, just keep on practicing, because the best thing you can do is practice, practice, practice.
All right. All I gotta say, thanks so much for your time, and yeah, best of luck for your endeavors, man.
Thank you so much.